Hey everyone, it's Ms. Spencer. Today we're going to be rounding whole numbers. Today's objective is that students will be able to use their knowledge of place value to round whole numbers. Let's try 12 to the nearest tens place. First, we're going to start with a place value chart and inserting our digits into the place value chart. Here we can see that we have 110. So when we create our number line, we're going to start with 110 or 10 ones. One more 10 than 110 is 2 tens or 20 ones. We're going to divide our number line into 10 equal parts, and we're going to plot 12 onto our number line. There's 10 parts in between 10 and 20, so each part represents 1, so we're going to put 12 on the second line. We can see here that 12 is closer to 10, so 12 rounds to 10 when rounded to the nearest tens place. Now let's round 36 to the nearest tens place. We're going to start with our place value chart, and we're going to put our digits into the place value chart. We can see that we have 3 tens in the number 36. So when we create our number line, we're going to start with 3 tens or 30 ones. One more 10 than 3 tens is 4 tens or 40 ones. So now we can break our number line up into 10 equal parts. Since there are 10 parts in between 30 and 40, each part represents one whole. So we can plot 36 on the sixth line after 30. We can see 36 is closer to 40, so 36 rounds to 40 when rounded to the nearest tens place. Now let's try rounding 36 to the nearest hundreds place. We're still going to start with a place value chart and inserting our digits into the place value chart. Here we can see that we have 0 hundreds, so we're going to start our number line with 0 hundreds, which equals 0 ones. One more 100 than 0 hundreds is 100, so we're going to put 100 at the end of our number line. We're going to break our number line up into 10 equal parts, but each part is going to represent 10 instead of 1. We can see that there's 10 parts between 0 and 100, so each part represents 10. I'm going to stop here because we only need to plot 36. So we see that there's 36 falls between 30 and 40, so it's going to be somewhere between 30 and 40. We're going to have 10 equal parts in between 30 and 40. And now we can plot 36 on the number line. So 36 is closer to 0 than it is to 100, so 36 rounds to 0 when rounded to the nearest hundreds place. Now let's round 450 to the nearest hundreds place. We start with our place value chart and insert our digits. We can see that in 450, there's 4 hundreds, so we're going to start our number line at 400 or 400 ones. One more 100 than 400s is 500 or 500 ones. Now let's break our number line up into 10 equal parts. Each part is going to represent 10 again, so we can plot 450. So 450 is directly in the middle between 400 and 500. But because there's 5 tens, when it's 5 or more, we're going to round up. So 450 rounds to 500 when rounded to the nearest hundreds place. Now let's round 450 to the nearest thousands place. We're going to start with our place value chart and insert our digits. We can see that there's 0 thousands, so we're going to start our number line with 0 thousands or 0 ones. One more 1,000 than 0 thousands is 1,000 or 1,000 ones. Now we're going to break our number line up into 10 equal parts. Here, because there's from 0 to 1,000, there's 1,000 numbers, each part represents 100. So this would be 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. I'm going to stop here because that's all we need. We're going to plot 450, which is going to be right in between 400 and 500. We can see here that 450 is closer to 0 than it is to 1,000. So 450 rounds to 0 when rounded to the nearest thousands place. Now let's round 2,704 to the nearest thousands place. Here we start with a place value chart and we're going to insert our digits. We can see that we have 2,000s in 2,704. So our number line is going to start at 2,000. One more 1,000 than 2,000 is 3,000 or 3,000 ones. We're going to break our number line up into 10 equal parts. Each line is going to represent 100. So we're going to plot 2,704 on the number line, and we can see that this is much closer to 3,000 than it is to 2,000. So 2,704 rounds to 3,000 when rounded to the nearest thousands place. Remember, if the number to the right is 5 or more, you want to raise the score or increase by 1, either 10, 100, or 1,000, depending on the place value you're rounding to. If the number to the right is 4 or less, you're going to keep that number that you're rounding to the same. Let's try that. Round each of these numbers to the nearest tens place. So we are starting with 23. The 2 is in the tens place. So we're going to look at the 3 to decide if the 2 is going to stay the same or round up. Remember, 23 falls between 20 and 30. So our number is either going to round to 20 or 30. The 3 is 4 or less, so we're going to let the 2 rest, which means that 23 is going to round to 20. Here we have 185. The 8 is in the tens place. Remember, we're rounding to the tens place. That's why we're looking at the 8. We're going to look at the 5 to determine if we're going to round 185 to 180 or to 190. Remember, the 5 is in the ones place, and 5 or more, we're going to raise the score. So we're going to raise the 8 tens to 9 tens, which means our 885 rounds to 190. Let's try rounding these numbers to the hundreds place. In 254, there's 2 hundreds. So we're going to look at the 5 to determine if the 2 is, if we're going to stay at 200 or if we're going to round up to 300. The 5 falls in the category of 5 or more, so we're going to raise the score of 200 to 300. 254 rounds to 300. Here, 2,618, the 6 is in the hundreds place. We're going to look at the 1 in the tens place to determine if we're going to round to 2,600 or 2,700. We can see the 1 falls in the category of 4 or less, so we're going to let the 6 rest, meaning that we're going to round 2,618 to 2,600. Finally, we're going to round these numbers to the thousands place. Here, in 912, we see that we have no hundreds, so we can put a 0 in, no thousands, so we can put a 0 in the thousands place. We're going to look at the hundreds place to determine if we're going to round this number to 0 or to 1,000. The 9 falls in the category of 5 or more. So we're going to raise the 0 thousands to 1,000. 912 rounds to 1,000. Finally, we are going to look at the 8 in the thousands place. We can then see it next door to the 300s, and we see the 3 falls in the category of 4 or less. So 8,346 is closer to 8,000 than it is to 9,000.